a video on a whiskey, honey and lemon posset. Um, so I'm just in the stage of having a think about it at the moment, and I kind of need to work out how much whiskey I should use for the recipe. So I was faffing around with not brulees, possets today, and I have some sweetened cream. So I'm going to utilise sweetened cream to work out what kind of ratio of whiskey to cream we should have. So I thought I was prepared, but I'm not. So I reckon maybe 1 part whiskey to 3 parts cream. I think. And then we kind of need to get around the fact of what we're going to do about that. We're going to add a volume of additional liquid to the posset as well. So I need to have a think about what we're going to do about that as well. So we'll work out the ratio of whiskey first. I reckon so. It's a dessert spoon. All the measurements the same. So that's 1 of those. Keep that clean, and then we'll do. Move that out of the way so I don't knock it. It's just cheap whiskey. I'm not going to mess around with expensive whiskey if we're just having a fool around. And to be honest, I wouldn't use expensive whiskey anyway. Expensive whiskey is for drinking neat, and it's not for putting in cocktails, in my opinion. Or not in cooking anyway. Not in cooking. Certainly not the really good whiskies. What's that? Probably could have. Maybe a bit more. Maybe a bit more. Go with that big old spoon. Although it's only me, isn't it? Not as if no one else is going to be mucking around with this. Right, that's probably better. So yeah, just slightly over 1 part whiskey to every 3 parts cream. Now I think what I'm going to do. So I'll have a workout, and then I think what would be for the best thing to do. I suppose we need to reduce the amount of liquid in the posset. I don't want to reduce the whiskey down because we lose the alcohol and we lose some flavour. But we can either so we can reduce the lemon juice down by heating it and reducing the liquid down, so it becomes more concentrated. So we still get the lemony flavour, but we don't and the acidity from it, but we lose the actual liquid out of it. I suppose could just use citric acid, but you're not just going to go out and buy citric acid, are you? I mean, I've got it, but lemon's a lemon, so I think that's what we'll do. So I'll get the recipe ready, and then we'll kind of get to that stage of reducing things down and all that kind of stuff. And then I think what we'll have to do is we'll have to reduce the lemon juice down in a pan, add the honey to the lemon, simmer the cream, and then pour the cream over the what we call it, the lemon and the honey mixture, and then pour in the whiskey. I think that's what we'll have to do. See, as I'm constantly planning in my head rather than just the point is kind of working it out, doing it, even a success, and then having to remake the video. Might as well just show how I work things out, which is just as interesting in my eyes. So do a bit of calculating, and I'll be back with the actual recipe. I'll put some timestamps in the video. So 120 grams worth of lemon juice, and I'm reducing it down. The trick is to reduce it down so we get as little liquid left as possible, so concentrate it, and we will without burning it. The cream's on the back, so the cream's just coming up to the boil. So I'm kind of juggling what I'm doing. So I've weighed out 150 grams worth of honey and 150 grams worth of whiskey. So what I think I'll do is we'll take this down a little bit further. We'll wait until the cream, just keep an eye on that. I don't want to boil the cream over or burn that, so it's just going to be a bit careful. So the cream's coming up to the simmer. So we just need to turn that down so it doesn't boil over. Ordinarily I'd add the sugar to the cream. You can't just see it, but I'm not going to faff around with the camera. That's almost going, and it's starting to colour as well, which is not what we really want. We don't want to kind of add a caramel kind of flavour. So I'll add the honey into there, and then we'll boil that up. That's some kind of knife. Yeah. So we'll boil that up, and then that'll drive off a little bit of the liquid as well. So we'll intensify that. Need to put that honey in the microwave. I also need to boil the honey as well because it's started to slightly crystallise, which sometimes happens with honey, which is nice actually. You can buy some crystallised honey. That's delicious. Right, so 5 minutes for the cream, just to let it simmer for 5 minutes, and then we can bring the honey up to melt the sugar crystals in there, and that will just drive off any excess liquid from the lemon juice as well. That will be enough. So that into there, just add a little bit more. That's fine. I'm also doing some washing up at the same time. Yeah, so cream's fine. Put it there. It should work this. I think if I don't think I'll probably put more in the sample of more whiskey in the sample of the cream, but we'll just kind of have to see how it all kind of plays out. I don't want to boil the whiskey because we'll lose flavour. I don't really like doing that. It kind of sometimes depends on what you want to do. If sometimes you want to boil alcohol to get rid of the alcohol, sometimes you don't. You want to leave it the raw alcohol flavour in there. So I think a little bit of caramelisation of the honey won't be a bad thing. It might just add a bit of extra kind of flavour. So just keep an eye on that. And then what we can do is we can add the whiskey to that, and then we can add the whiskey to then that mixture to the cream, I think. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll just pause until everything's ready. So I worry about my videos being too long. But the basic premise of this is that at this time of year you have honey and lemon. You've got a bit of sore throat and a bit of whiskey in it as well. So honey, lemon and whiskey are flavours that work. So the honey has just caramelised just a little bit. The cream has boiled for 5 minutes. We'll now put the whiskey in with the honey. We might just lose a little bit of liquid that way. So hopefully there'll be the right amount of liquid for this. So I'm sure we're going to do it. Do it that way. More like that. And then lemon zest. and that's okay. We'll have an idea of if we've got the right type of volume of Posset mixture, because it fills up 6 containers. So those there like that. I'm just going to use, I ain't got 6 of the same ones, so I'm just going to use the cream pot. So that's fine. So that into a jug. And squeeze a bit of the from the pan to the jug. Off camera, obviously. That mix, and then pour into containers. And then we'll see if it sets overnight. It's looking a bit thinner than it normally does, but the honey might just let it help it set. I'm going on the idea that a certain amount of acid sets a certain amount of cream. So as long as there's the same amount of liquid, the same amount of cream and the same amount of acid, then it should set. I think there's slightly more liquid. They'll just might be a little bit softer. I realise this video is a little bit longer than it needs to be, but it's for my own wants as well. If I can see how I've done something, I can re-watch and see if it needs any kind of improvement. So there, we'll just get those last bits out. Oh, I don't know, that might set. That might set. Let's have a taste of that. So we'll let those set and we'll see how it tastes. See, it's thick there. It's thick in the pan. So we'll see what it's like in the morning when they're set completely. It's set pretty well. So I was thinking after I made them that maybe I needed to cook the whiskey to kind of get rid of the harsh alcohol kind of flavour, because it's lemons and it's alcohol, and I'm kind of thinking I might have just needed to cook the whiskey a little bit more, kind of heat it just to kind of get rid of some of the harshness of it. But I can always do that next time if it's not nice. But it's set, so all the things that I did to reduce the lemon juice down and then get rid of some liquid out of the honey all kind of has worked. So you see, it's got the good texture of a posset. I don't know if that worked. I don't know if that works. Just something just not quite right about it. Just a bit of an aftertaste to it. Which might be the whiskey. No, it's not an aftertaste. It's look at me digging into it. It's not that disgusting, is it? You know. So It's kind of the midway flavour. It might be better with orange. It might be better with orange. It might just be the lemon's just not working with the whiskey. It might be better with an orange rather than lemon. So kind of double the amount of orange juice, which would be well, yeah, because you put orange zest in an old-fashioned cocktail, so orange works with what we call it, with whiskey. So you'd take so what is it, about 120 grams, 120 milliliters of lemon. So you'd take double that amount of orange and reduce that right down to almost zero, and then put in the honey, and then put in the whiskey. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I think orange should probably work better. We'll have another go at some stage. But at least we know that you can put alcohol in it, and if you want it to set, that's not a problem. It's just the flavour combination just didn't quite work.